Hello, and thank you all for tuning in to Sophisticated Sunday. I'm going to be your reader for today, giving you all the infamous bone reading. My name is Neg Zoe, and thank you all for tuning in to our Sophisticated Sunday episode. Today, we're going to be talking about something that's incredibly important to a lot of my subscribers and also important to the African American community more broadly. I'm going to be using my checkerboard spirit board to talk about the consequences of African Americans not working with their ancestors after being told that they're supposed to be working with their ancestors. Okay, so the first thing that I'm getting here on the board, as far as African Americans not working with their ancestors, I get the simplify token over the poison ivy. So this is very simple. That it's talking about ignorance, and it's also talking about common sense. They're saying that ignorance will continue to spread and common sense will not be as contagious amongst African Americans who choose not to work with their ancestors. That is one of the consequences of such. So when you choose not to work with your ancestors after being told to, you're going to actually be surrounded by people who will deny, who are more likely to deny that ancestral worship is beneficial to them. The other thing that I get is a heart over the treasure chest. So the ancestors are coming through to say that it means a lot to them for you all to address the need to work with them. I'm also getting a turtle over the cabinet, and the cabinet represents a man's private areas. So this is talking to African American men, and they're saying that you all are too slow you all are basically, the women are leading in when it comes to ancestral worship. You can expect for women to be the pioneers, African American women to be the pioneers when it comes to ancestral worship. They'll also be the ones that will go back and teach African American men how to work with their ancestors in a proper way. So they're saying that black men, we need to catch up in this regard. Now there's also a paperclip over the unity tile, and which is the unity tile is the black power fist. So essentially, you can expect to be more connected to the African American community as a race when you don't work with your ancestors, but you may be lacking a feeling of spiritual kinship with them. So you'll encounter people that will say things like, I have African ancestry, but I'm not black, or I have African ancestry and I don't care about race, or I don't see color. There's a man over, and they're really going off on the men. They're really talking about it's the men, African American men, that seem to be behind when it comes to working with their ancestors. The man over the 50% coupon is saying that that men without work, basically, if you're a man that knows you're supposed to be working with your ancestors and you haven't started, you're not getting the most value out of life that you could be. There's a penny over the dead end, and a penny is over Jesus Christ. This is talking about African Americans working with their ancestors and then going to Jesus. Jesus Christ may not be your biological ancestor. You may not have an ancestral blood lineage to Jesus Christ, although the owl falls over Jesus Christ, which indicates that you can draw upon him for his wisdom. Nevertheless, the penny being over Jesus Christ and being over the dead end means that working with Jesus Christ offers minimal benefit to African Americans that have not chosen to work with their ancestors. The probability of luck falls over the ancestors tile, and it also falls over the Wi-Fi. So you can also expect that you will experience troubles and misfortunes. I'm also saying you'll see minor amounts of money leave your bank account randomly, or you'll lose small amounts of money. I'm also saying here that you can expect to be jinxed in your love life, as indicated by the romance tile over the sponge and over the jinx. There's a closed calorie over the sponge as well, and to translate all of the messages here, this is saying that until you work with your basically, if you having started working with your ancestors and you know that you're supposed to, you can expect that you will need a cleansing bath to purify your energy so that you can be made more acceptable to them, because your ancestors are saying that your energy is stinking or dirty at this time because you haven't been around them. You've been around other people's energy and allowing their energy to be your perfume, and it shouldn't be your perfume. There's the typewriter over the guillotine. So this is saying that your petitions to the universe are not being heard at this time. There's a bicycle over the chicken, which means that you can also that you're running away from your problems. So because you're running away from your problems and petitioning to deities that are foreign or alien to your bloodline, you can expect to be cut off from your blessings, and you can also expect that your ancestors, without the ancestral connection, you'll continue experiencing multiple different types of misfortunes. There's a quarter over the Libra scale, so this is they're judging you all very harshly for doing that, and the memory card falls over the arrested development tile, and the power token falls over the arrested development tile. So the ancestors are going to remember you not choosing to work with them, and in them revisiting their memories, they're going to not they're not going to change their opinions of you once you do start working with them. They're going to expect that you try to appease them a little bit more than what you would have if you had started off doing things the right way. Essentially, what I'm saying is it's better you should have started your ancestral worship yesterday, and then you're going to have to do more work to appease your ancestors after being told a second time to work with them and you didn't do it the first time. The woman falls over the Kundalini tile. So this is actually saying that African American women are in alignment with their destinies more so than African American men. There's another penny that falls over the marionette doll. So this is saying that your ancestors, that if things go wrong in your life, you have no one to blame but yourself, because your ancestors were not responsible for the things that happened to you. So you may be asking, like, why would God take out my grandmama? Why would God keep this person dead and not keep? I mean, why would the God kill this person and not kill this good person and keep this bad person alive? You know, your ancestors were supposed to be orchestrating the events in your life, and you can pretty much think of external events that you would consider to be misfortunate that may happen, and these events may affect other people. You can attribute those occurrences to a lack of ancestral worship, but it's a lack of ancestral worship on a collective level. So we can't blame all the social ills that are trampling over our community on one particular individual, but we will say that it's collectively African Americans knowing that they need to worship their ancestors and not doing so, which is causing a lot of these problems. I'm also saying here, indicated on my board, that we have to have more courage. You have to have more courage and stop wishing for things to change in your life. The ancestors are coming through and they're saying that you are not going to be protected from white supremacy either. That you actually have lost out on that protection, or you've at least forfeited those types of protections. The direction token is pointing north over the jellyfish. So the direction token pointing north means that this is a spiritual answer. It also and so the spirits are saying that what you can expect, you get what you see, because the jellyfish is translucent and it's poisonous. So you know that an American society is going to be overtly racist. So you can pretty much expect for you not to be protected from racism. Again, there's a beehive over the snail. So as far as you not working with your ancestors and knowing that you should, if you're trying to amass any type of popularity, a fan base, or you're trying to acquire a clientele to help fund your business on a month-to-month basis, it's probably not going to happen, because your ancestors would be the ones to make sure that you have a consistent traffic flow in to your business. I'm getting an elephant over the stork, and this is saying that there's a lot of value in working with your ancestors, particularly around fertility and your ancestors making sure that your bloodline can produce more children. So so if you are infertile and you're not working with your ancestors, you would perhaps want to start working with your ancestors, because that would be one of the keys to reactivating your fertility. Other than that, I don't see anything else on the board. But if you have any other questions related to ancestral worship, please go to www.blackspectrumnetwork.com and purchase a private reading with one of the readers on the site, preferably the Ancestral Life Path reading, which will tell you about how to work with your ancestors, how to set up an ancestral altar, whether your ancestors are strong or weak, and will also pro Sophisticated Sunday. See y'all next week. Bye.
So fuel my fire, take me high, I'll be your liar too. Cause when we're here, there's nothing better than the skyline view. Ooh, I love this skyline view.